ahead, Michael.
Meeting will come to order, please. The notice requirements of the Open Public Meeting Act for this meeting have been satisfied. Would you please turn off electronic devices, and we'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Attention, salute. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Johanna, would you call the roll, please?
Mayor Becker,
Here.
Commissioner Amadeo.
Here.
Commissioner Blumberg.
I am here.
We have before us for approval minutes of our August 2nd meetings. What is your pleasure?
I'll make a motion, we approve those.
I'll second it.
Mayor Becker.
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo.
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg.
Yes.
Oh, at this point, we'll open for public comment during this session. You have 3 minutes to speak. You may speak on any subject. Is there any public comment? Your name and address, please.
My name is Kathy Heitzman. I live at 15 South Washington Avenue, right up the street here. I had spoken about a month ago about the need for Washington Avenue having it a little more obvious that it's a one-way street. A sign was put up at Pacific Avenue where there are two-way streets. This past week, there were 3 cars ticketed because not only are they going up the street the wrong way, but they're parking as they do that, be it in front of the dentist's office or wherever. And I really feel, and I've said this over and over again, it's a safety issue, that something must be done. Kids ride their bikes up that street. It's very busy with Wawa at the corner. I was going to make a right off Washington, and this car actually, right where the barrier is, he tried to pull in to get into Wawa right there at the traffic light. And it's just incredible. And I really feel we need to give more tickets, even if you're able to put a camera up there so that you can get the license plates numbers as they do in a lot of places, because I've been there 12 years and thank God nothing bad has happened. The other point I want to ask about is I have not heard anything about the drug fraud that had been going on in the community for the past couple years, and I wondered what the update is on that in terms of people that were involved in the drug fraud in Margate.
I don't think any of us have any information about that at all. That would have to probably come from the prosecutor's office. Okay. We have no notifications at all for months. Okay.
The case is still
Right.
open.
Yeah, because, I mean, when I called about these people parked the wrong way to see what could happen, the policeman that came told me that there are only 5 policemen in Margate now. And that, he told me, he said, we only have 5 people working, because I said, this street
per
has-
shift. Per shift.
I'm just, don't
This is
mess with me here. This is
rumor
pretty sad
city. I can
because
assure you that's not true.
it was Tuesday morning, and we have the street cleaners come down, sorry, and there's no parking from 10 to 12, and they finally cleaned in front of my house this past week. And prior to this, there were always a policeman or a policeman on a bike giving tickets to people that didn't obey that. And so that was the statement that he made.
Chief, is there anything that could be done temporarily? As you know, I explained to you before, we're in the process of redesigning this whole area. It's not going to happen tomorrow, though. No.
Right, well, as I said, you have a sign here, no through traffic. If you could just put a one-way there, right below it, there's a post there. I'm willing to take the screws. If you just give me the sign, I'll put it up myself, because they
Can we do that?
totally ignore the no right turn under the stop.
The chief asked me to ask you if tomorrow is okay.
Yes, tomorrow morning though, because I'm getting company. That's fine. You want my phone number? Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
Jeff Hoffner, 5 South Monroe. Back to the street sweeping. I live at 5 South Monroe, right next to Fry's Auto. Tuesdays from 10 to 12, they sweep the right side of the street. Fry's Auto never moves their cars from that side of the street. Cars are leaking oil right there. It's kind of selective ticketing. I got a ticket parked outside of Fry's. Both of the cars that Fry's is working on parked outside of Fry's did not get tickets. I know Mr. Chuck Fry was out identifying which cars were his and which were not. Just want to know what the solution is, because it is kind of sort of an injustice to ticket one and not the other.
Chief?
I'll make sure that the parks are moved. That's absolutely improper, so
They haven't been cleaned in
this is the first time here that they
years. It's been, yeah. It's never been
taken
enforced.
care of it. They don't have to go back.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. City's hot today, 2 for 2. Any other public comment? Last chance is
Chuck Shaman, 1 North Granville. Margate repaved when the gas company finished their work on putting in the high-pressure lines. They repaved the streets. I wonder when they're going to go about striping by the driveways, because the only part of a lot of them where stripes are left are the gutter section, where the concrete was. Where it was asphalt, the blacktopped, got blacktopped over the existing, and now many of the driveways don't have stripes, including mine, and I think people
Tomorrow,
have
Chief?
difficulty understanding where they are not supposed to park.
I can answer that.
hold on, we may be going
Well,
for,
that was the only thing I had to,
we may be batting 1,000 here, 3 for 3. The chief's going to answer.
Essentially, before the gas company engaged in their project, they took a Google Maps of the area, and I know that Ed's been involved. There's a punch list, so it's possible that the striping is on the punch list. I will check. If the striping is not on the punch list, we'll get it done.
okay. The other comment is that I've been in Margate for about 13 years, and until the last few years, they seemed like they had some kids that were doing summer work that were going around restriping. If they saw an area that needed the stripe by the driveway, they did it. I haven't seen those employees in years to go around and do the work. And I'm sure they weren't doing it out of the goodness of their heart. They must have been getting paid, so.
We will get your driveway striped, okay? Thank you. Last chance, public comment? Hi.
My name's Patricia Goldfield. I live at 8 South Monroe. And my question is, we have a handicap spot across the street. I believe it's 11 South Monroe. It exceeds the property line, and it's designated for 1 vehicle, I believe a van, but it could properly fit 2. And there's enough people on the street that are disabled, have disabled vehicles. I believe there's a home with autistic individuals on the street. There's people parking from the condos, I think it's 21 South Monroe, that could be designated for 2 spots instead of just 1. Because I know the person across the street who it's for, he's part-time, he's not there all the time, but he hardly gets a chance to park there. And I just wonder, and there's no actual blue painting on the street. It's just the sign.
Why don't I turn this one over to the chief?
Okay,
I will take a look at it
Okay.
first thing in the morning. Actually, I'll take a look when I leave here.
okay,
Those spots are, the size are mandated by law.
Okay.
So we just can't say this spot can be 10, this spot can be.
Okay.
They have to be 22 feet in length.
okay.
So I will take a look at it.
Because a van never parks there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I understand it, but it
Yeah,
still
yeah,
has to
yeah.
be 22
Yeah,
feet.
okay.
I'm gonna probably get in trouble for saying, the downside of handicap parking spaces is we cannot designate who can utilize them. So anybody
Right.
with a valid handicap permit or license can park there. So you can
Correct.
have somebody come and park there and walk away, that doesn't even live on the street and leave the vehicle there.
Absolutely.
That's the downside.
And that's where you have 2 individuals, cars that are properly tagged, that go there, but at certain times, somebody comes up on Friday and parks right in the middle, and nobody could get that extra spot. So
But it's.
is it only designated for 1, and then 1 other person who does not have handicap can park there?
I need to look at, no, it's
Okay.
only, by law, a handicap parking place is 22 feet long, must be 22 feet long.
Okay, because
So-
this exceeds his whole property line.
I need to
Yeah.
look, I need to look.
Yeah.
It was probably done for a reason, I don't know, I don't want
Yeah.
to comment without looking at it first.
I think the sign might say van, and that's why I would think it
Well,
was
it's
so long.
I will take a look at
Yeah,
it.
okay, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Public comment? I'm going to comment. Serving the people of Margate is certainly for me a great pleasure. And just think about what happened. 4 people came in here, 4 things got taken care of immediately, like that. Where else can you go? Like this just makes me so proud. I want to thank you, Chief, for taking care of it and for the people. Thank you.
Very good.
Is there a motion to close public comment?
So moved.
Second.
Johanna?
Mayor Becker,
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo,
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg.
Yes.
We will now open public comment on resolutions that are on the agenda. Does everybody have a copy of the agenda? Is there any public comment?
Hello,
Hi. Name and address, please.
George Kennedy, 9414 Amherst Avenue. And I've got a question. You claimed that the 7 parking spots in front of, on Amherst Avenue were unbuildable lots. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
But yet they're going to become buildable lots. Is that correct?
No,
They're going to build on it.
no. It will be merged with the adjoining property.
Okay.
And will add to that adjoining property, but by themselves, they're not buildable.
Okay. So, what's the stop, well, I'm part of the association, Harbor Vista Association, and we put an offer on the table to buy the 7 lots as well, right? Parking spots across the street from our place, and you denied that offer, correct?
It wasn't considered. I don't know if it was denied or not.
Was it
Would that be correct, Scott?
It would be appropriate to say denied, yeah.
denied? Okay. So is this arrangement that was given to Barbary Coast going to be offered to Lot 528, which is right across the street, in waterward of the additional parking spots that we were interested in?
Mayor, would you like me to answer it?
Please.
There's a very significant difference between your existing residential condominium development, which has its on-site parking. The first difference was that the lot that's in question was in title of the marina there, but there was an ambiguity in the chain of title. We did title search and research on it, and to resolve that, the owner of the property voluntarily deeded back by quitclaim deed to the city of Margate. I believe it was 170 feet. Deeded it back, just recently, deeded it back to the city of Margate. They then went forth with their development proposal. That proposal included building a bulkhead. Mayor or commissioners, help me out. Is it 170 feet of bulkhead? I believe it's 170 some feet of bulkhead, plus the sidewalk and the curbing, all that improvement, which has got to be $200,000 or $300,000. Is your condominium association talking about a $200,000 or $300,000 expenditure?
Yes.
For 70 feet? Where would you put it? The bulkhead in front
Well,
of you is perfect. And you
we-
have on.
We could get to that, but what
I know.
value did you put on those parking spots?
We valued the value of the replacement bulkhead in consideration, and the fact that there was less than clear title to this property. I mean, arguably, they could argue that they own it because it was vacated to their predecessor about, 15 or 20 years ago. So to resolve the question of title and to resolve whose responsibility it was to build the bulkhead, Barbary Coast came to the city and said, look, we'll redevelop the property. We'll spend this $200,000 or $300,000 on the bulkhead and the other improvements along that right of way, of which will become a promenade and sidewalk area for the city, which is consistent with our master plan of what the city wants to do with that area. So, yeah, I understand your point. I understand you're litigating with them and you don't want it approved, but the governing body determined after fully considering it, all the pros and the cons, that it was worth allowing them to get 70 feet back. Remember, again, I think it was it 170? Might have been even been more than that.
It was almost a $500,000 contract.
Almost total. And so that's why the governing body elected to do that.
Okay, so
It's
my
a
last
little bit
question, I
different
ran
than
out
your
of time,
situation.
but, so the value you put on the parking spots was in the neighborhood of 200,000?
Well,
Give or take?
Sir,
it-
sir,
it's
sir,
a lot more
may
than
I?
that.
Out of courtesy, I allowed you to speak. the ordinance is being introduced today. There will be a hearing at the next meeting, at which you'll have a chance to comment.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there any comment on the resolutions that are on the agenda? Is there a motion to close public comment?
Mayor, we are going to change one resolution, and I'll go through that other than public comment with our city clerk pursuant to our previous discussion, all right?
Cool.
But we can do it verbal during the meeting, right?
We'll do it verbal during the meeting,
Okay.
yes, sir.
Okay. Johanna?
Did we make a motion to close public comment on?
I'm waiting for
We
the
do.
motion.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
May I have a motion to introduce ordinance number 21, 2018, an ordinance authorizing a private sale of real property known as a portion of Block 528, Lot 2.03.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
May I have a motion for resolution number 173, 2018, payment and claims?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
I need a motion for the amended resolution 174, 2018. Scott, do you want to?
I will read that. The amendment is that we're going to accept the August 15th proposal by Arthur W. Ponzi Company, and then into the now therefore, that sentence that begins in the amount of $94,700, it will read as follows. In the amount not to exceed $94,700 for a one-year period commencing immediately. Contract will be bifurcated so as to authorize $71,025 to cover the bulkhead area exclusive of the Lamberti's leased area, and an additional $23,675 for the Lamberti's leased area if the same is necessary and upon further authorization by the governing body.
Engineer.
Thank you, Scott.
I think, and that works. We good, Rich?
Shouldn't it be authorized by the engineer?
Well, I was going to have the governing body authorize it, but
Well, that brings it. I'm satisfied with the engineer if they're satisfied with it.
okay. Upon further authorization by the city engineer.
May I have a motion?
So
I'll make
moved.
the motion.
Second.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
And may I have a motion for the consent agenda, which is resolution number 175, 2018 through 180, 2018?
So moved.
Second.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
That's it.
Thank you. The commission has deemed necessary to go into executive session for a legal matter. So at this point, we are going to go into executive session. Unfortunately, you would have to leave the room. It's a private session. If you care to wait, you can wait outside. Otherwise, we will bring you up to date on the results of that. Is there a motion to go into executive session, please?
Mayor, that motion will be worded to allow the governing body to go in executive session to discuss litigation. It is specifically with regard to the case of Two Daughters LLC versus the governing body versus City of Margate and the Margate Planning Board. That's what we're going to talk about.
Thank you.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
For those of you that are leaving, thank you all for being here.
Okay, so the purpose of our executive session was to discuss the ongoing litigation of Two Daughters LLC versus Margate's Planning Board and the City of Margate. I wanted to update the city officials and also discuss our strategy as how to move forward on this case and any possibility of a resolution without having to go to a full-blown hearing and trial and whatnot. That was the purpose of the meeting. Okay, anything else?
Thank you. Anybody have anything else? All right. Nope. Motion to adjourn the meeting, please.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo? Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
Len, do you have any questions?
Hi, I'm Frank Bruno, here on behalf of my parents, Frank and Scarlett, for 112 South Douglas Avenue.
We're really,
We're off the record.
What, you
But-
want to reopen
Do-
it? They did wait, I mean,
Oh,
okay, then we,
just,
can we,
once you reconvene.
we'll reconvene the
We
meeting.
didn't realize they were
Okay.
coming in after the executive.
Do you want to talk to them on the record, or do you want to
All
talk
right,
to
is
them?
this something on the record? Yeah, I guess we should.
Yeah,
Can you do that?
I guess.
Motion to reconvene.
Yes.
I'll make that motion.
Second,
Mayor Becker?
yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Yes.
We have a member of the public who wants to make a comment, obviously, which, are we on recording?
You're recording.
Okay. Your name and address, sir.
My name is Frank Bruno. I'm here on behalf of my parents, Frank and Scarlett, for 112 South Douglas Avenue. They're rebuilding a house that was damaged in Sandy, and during the demolition, gas service was severed, and we're rebuilding the house now for permanent residency by my parents and my sister.
His mic's not.
Is it Mike Lynn?
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me okay?
I'm familiar. My
Yeah.
city engineer had discussed this with me earlier today in reference to your project. Just to bring Commissioner Blumberg and the mayor up, we have a moratorium in the city which says that once a street's paved, we don't allow street opening permits for 5 years. However, the investment that you're making, your family's making, and I'm well aware of the project, that I'm going to recommend to the mayor and Commissioner Blumberg that we allow, there's a technique that needs to be used. You need it for gas, am I correct?
Correct.
How about water and sewer?
They're there.
It's already there?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to ask Mayor Becker and Commissioner Blumberg to support allowing our city engineer, Roger McClernand, to issue a street opening permit based on the fact that you'll use the infrared technique, the contractor that comes in to install the gas line. The gas company's very familiar. It's what we request, and we will allow, and I will speak with Mr. McClernand when he comes back off of vacation, and hopefully we can vote on it tonight to allow them to have gas for their property.
Mr. Bruno, I'm aware of what's going on, very much in favor of development. The only thing we ask is that you restore this street. Okay? Lynn?
Yes.
And I will hold you personally responsible, and I know where to get you.
Well, and so there is too, we have a process on new streets where they have to go curb to curb, correct?
That is correct.
So they'll be able to follow that process.
Well, I did
Yes or
talk to
no?
Roger.
Oh, okay.
And they're the end property. And what he suggested, as long as they use the infrared for the opening, if they can keep the opening to a 2x2 or 3x3 hole, he's happy with them
Okay,
doing
fine.
it that way. 'cause
I'm
it's
good by
le-
that.
It's less
Good-
intrusive.
Good by me.
So I will speak with Roger when he gets back next week, and you're okay with moving forward.
Thank you.
I forgot
About your
I
contractor.
forgot to tell you.
He's wonderful.
Okay, I'll make a motion, we adjourn the regular meeting.
Second?
Mayor Becker?
Yes.
Commissioner Amadeo?
Yes.
Commissioner Blumberg?
Again, yes.
Yeah, he told me, and I forgot.